Hi, welcome to today's episode or this week's episode of From People Problems to Productivity. If you haven't met me, I'm Kirsten Rosvogel, and I have been helping teams and leaders move from people problems to productivity for about 30 years. So, doing this work for a while. I help you build your high performing teams, find productivity, and fix the friction that can happen while scaling or working with family. Done a lot of that as well. So today I'm going to be sharing some simple, actionable tactics around gaining productivity, finding efficiency, recapturing some of your time. And I find that a lot of my clients, some are even very heavily engaged in process improvement and ISO and all those kinds of things, but they forget to kind of operationalize them, make them simple, and also kind of the admin pieces can end up, costing a lot of time. So, and please, if you're hopping on, say hello. Just shoot me a message. If you're seeing this on Facebook, uh, put your name in the comments or go to the StreamYard thing so that I can see your name when you say hello. I'm broadcasting onto LinkedIn and YouTube as well. So if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to. The fun part about going live is I can answer your questions in real time. Um, I will say I'll be going live on Zoom in my Impact Academy shortly, 1:00 today. So if you also want to hop in there, if you're a member, make sure to do that. And if you're not, check it out. You get free full access 24/7 to tons of audio, video, PDF downloads on all kinds of great leadership, personal growth topics, team topics, communication, healthy relationships. So you can join that by going to myimpactacademy.com/join, and you'll find the link there. So that's at 1:00 today, Eastern Standard Time. So let me talk about today's topic, from people problems to productivity, which is finding efficiency, gaining productivity, recapturing time. So one of the I shared that a lot of my clients struggle with this. And sometimes initially there's a lot of pushback. I don't have time to do any of that. But what I find is as soon as the team or even a couple of the leaders start engaging in any kind of process improvement initiatives, they get addicted. They realize so quickly that it's a really good investment of time. So, and I have a microphone in front of my face today because I'm in my new space. I forgot to say that. So this is my first live in the new space. It's a bit echoey up here because I pretty much only have my desk and some blankets on the floor. But anyway, one thing that will quickly motivate you to work on process improvement is to do the numbers. Sometimes it feels like, well, I'm just doing this because it's annoying to have constant trip ups. Well, it's much more than that. So you also are wasting money. So you're wasting time. You're increasing friction, increasing frustration, but also the money aspect. So just yesterday, I was talking to a client and she was sharing a little bit about their payroll process. And I, they have been for many years, they have a payroll processing company, and then they have the time clock program that they've been using for years. They don't talk. So they've been limping along with it. But when we started doing the numbers, and just as an outside perspective looking, they have 3 different people trying to accommodate the fact that the time clock program doesn't work directly with the payroll program. And they also do a lot to make sure that employees are getting paid correctly, which is good, but they're missing the mark a little bit on assigning accountability to the team members too. So anyway, we started doing the numbers just quickly, just generally. You don't even have to specifically do it, but if there's a meeting that you're having just because you've always had it, don't meet to meet, do the math, figure out how much you're spending on that meeting. Now, so what you're going to do is just kind of average or estimate how much people work or how much people are paid per minute, hour, however you want to do it, and then do the math. The people in the room, what have you invested in paying them to be in that meeting? Is it worth the value that you're getting from the meeting? Now, I won't necessarily say stop the meeting. I'll say tweak the meeting. It is important to communicate with your team and have meetings and have opportunities to share, come together, build trust. But if you're not finding value in the meeting, yeah, something needs to happen. Don't meet just to meet. But if you're meeting and you could find value, do that. Um, the other thing to think about is when you're doing the math, you're just talking about what you're investing in that time. The additional math is actually usually more time and energy and money lost to the organization, because there's also the time lost to the activities that would have been higher productivity had your team been spending their time there. So kind of factor that in. Like I said, usually when you start looking at the numbers, it's like, oh, I'm not just doing that because it's annoying when we have constant trip ups or customers, service issues resulting. It's also that it's costing a lot of money. So just some super quick. Usually, I have my clients start with some really basic quick wins for gaining productivity. So, one, a leader who has become the go to person. The team is constantly coming to them to get questions answered, to get decisions made, et cetera. The first thing to do is just track what people are coming, and even if you're not a leader, but track what people are coming to you for. What are the questions they're coming to you for? Is there another way that they can get the information? Have you taught them that you're the go to person and that regardless, you're there for them? And so they're taking the easy route. Instead of looking it up or figuring it out on their own, they're coming to you. It feels really great to be the go to person. And I'm not saying like stop helping your team members or the people who report to you, but people have a tendency to not even remember things personally if they can just have it stored in your brain and go get the answers. So start tracking what people are coming to you for. So one, is there already another place that they could be going? Start to teach them to be self-sufficient. The other thing is if there's not another place for them to go, but it's a reoccurring question, do you need to develop a little spot on your shared drive or something where they can access some FAQ where the question is answered and now you can send them there? So that's one just super quick thing. The other thing is tasks that you're doing. Do you need to be delegating more? Are you or other team members working at the level that they should be working based on the job that they're in and the pay that you're giving them? So take a look at that. Is it consistent? Really important. Another super simple one is lists. I'm not talking task lists now. I'm talking about reoccurring lists, like activities. Like let's say you're a store and there's an open procedure and a closed procedure. There's a set of things that need to happen every single day, 7 days a week, and you don't have it documented anywhere. And you're just hoping that each employee tells the other and that everyone remembers all the steps. Make a list. It's super simple. So look for those reoccurring, often happening series of tasks. So one, the list becomes something that everyone can reference. That's a good thing. Another good reason to have the list is it can create some accountability. So again, let's just use the example of the open and close list. If you as the business owner arrive in the morning and something wasn't done the night before, you don't know who didn't do it. But if you have a list, part of that list could be that people sign off on the elements that they did, just a little initial or something. Again, it's just a way to build in accountability. It's a reference point for leaders to see like who was the late person last night, who was supposed to do it. Oh man, only 2 of the things are checked off. Man, there's maybe some other things that didn't happen last night that I didn't even figure out yet. I see some people on, and please say hello. I would love to know that you're here, and maybe pop your name into the comments just to make sure. It doesn't always tell me the name of who's saying the hello. And if you have any questions around productivity, gaining efficiency, recapturing time, send those questions as well. I'm happy to answer them for you. But so those are just some really quick kind of get started things, very simple ways to recapture time. So, one, gain the motivation to capture the time by doing some math. How much money are we spending on this meeting that's not productive, or this process that's taking up too many people's time and isn't adding a lot of value? Look at those kinds of things. Do a little bit of math. Give yourself the motivation to move through the pain of making the change. And trust me, once you start down the road of thinking in terms of how can we do things better, it does become addicting because you do recapture so much time and everything just runs smoother. It's beautiful. Um, and then look for, what are people coming to you for? What are the constant reoccurring questions? Um, where else can you be sending them? How can you make them self-sufficient? Teach people to be self-sufficient versus come to you for everything. So if there's not already a place to send them for the information, have them either document themselves or create some kind of FAQ, some kind of reference material on a shared drive, on a wall, laminated, that everyone can reference. Take yourself out of those basic activities, basic questions, basic reoccurring questions. Um, this goes for sometimes delegating decision making autonomy too. Are there ways to remove yourself from decision making? You can define areas where your team has the autonomy to make some basic decisions. And you can get specific about that. That will help you as a leader recapture some time. Then the next thing is create some lists. Lists are again, a place for people to go to reference a list of reoccurring tasks or activities that happen daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. And if needed, can also provide a way to build in accountability. Who was supposed to do these tasks? Did they check them off? Oh, I see. So and so was here last night. They were the one who was supposed to do this. So, the responsibility, what you delegate is the task list, and initialing or signing off that it was done so that you can hold them accountable to doing a good job with those activities. Say hello if you're hopping on. I see some people hopping on, and I just see numbers. I would love to know who you are. So if you want to shoot me a question, I would love that. I'm going to be wrapping up here in a couple more minutes, but yeah, if you want to say hi or ask a question, I'm happy to answer that. Um, and then the other thing is, a good first activity for starting the process of process improvement is pull your team together or have everyone individually work on creating their own list. What are their current ongoing repeating frustrations, challenges? This is such a great activity. What happens is, if you as a team have not been really engaging in process improvement or thinking in terms of how can we do things better, a lot of times you're tripping over the same errors, challenges, frustrations over and over and over. Again, do the math. So again, it's building friction amongst the team. Sometimes they're blaming each other, and it's just a failing process, or individuals are just frustrated. You maybe are having worse customer service as a result, etc. But so one, creating the list will help you realize, like, wow, some of these would be really easy to fix. Big bang for the buck, I call them. So you'll be able to peck off a lot of them quickly and have some good wins as a team. The other great thing is that you build teamwork. So it is a great reason to bring people together to work on process improvement together. So I encourage you to do that as well. It's a great, like I said, team building exercise. It builds trust. It helps your team learn the different pieces of a process along the way. A lot of times, what I find is, if there's high friction between either individuals that need to rely on one another or departments that need to rely on one another to get work done, and they don't have a high trust, full trust buckets, I call it, because they don't have a lot of time together. We humans, if we don't have full trust buckets with the people that we work with, we tend to, if things go awry, there's blame, frustration, anger, sometimes sabotage, when really often it's just a process falling apart. So if you bring people together, one, they get to know one another and build trust. Two, they learn about the process. If they don't know the full process and what the other department is doing, the assumption usually is there's hardly any work involved in the other department and we're doing tons of work over here. Or they're making my life worse on purpose. So they usually assign malicious intent, all kinds of things. But bringing everyone together, now they get the facts about, oh, wow, I thought that took 10 minutes. I didn't realize it was an hour and a half. Usually the work is more difficult, more time consuming in the other department. And again, they're building trust because they're coming together and meeting one another and working together and creating some wins together as they develop better processes. So I hope I've given you a few little tactics that you can utilize immediately. A couple little nuggets. That was my goal today. Please reach out. I am here to help. Again, been helping teams move from people problems to productivity for 30 years. Tons of trips. I'm having a tongue twister issue here. Tips, tricks, and strategies, proven strategies, simple to implement often. So I'm happy to help you with that. Grab a spot on my calendar. I've got the link right here, myimpactacademy.com/call. I would love to have a quick chat with you and let's see how I can help. In addition, on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other week, today's the day, I meet with the Impact Academy, myimpactacademy.com. And if you're not already a member, if you're a member, hop in today, 1 p.m. The Zoom link is inside the Academy. And if you're not a member, you can join for free for 2 weeks and get full access to everything. Tons of video, audio, PDF downloads on topics of, communication, healthy relationships, leadership, personal growth, all kinds of stuff. So, but I meet with everyone every other week, and you can gain access to that by going to myimpactacademy.com/join. So I hope to see some of you there. Thanks for listening, and drop me a comment if you watch this after the fact. Let me know with that pound replay. And again, if you have questions, shoot me a direct message or put a comment below and I can either answer you, we can jump on a call, or maybe I'll make it a topic for a future From People Problems to Productivity Live. All right, until next time, make it a great week. Thanks so much for joining and get out there and make your bigger, bolder impact. The world's waiting. Thanks.